Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Will you please call the roll?
Whenever you're ready.
Yep, whenever you're, I'm good.
Okay, Frost.
Here.
No.
Here.
Ben Joseph.
Here.
Dow.
Here.
Moons. Here. Tyre.
Here.
Gorson absent.
All right, welcome everyone. We will start with Tosh.
Awesome. Thank you so much. A lot of cool updates to share with you guys this month. I'm super excited. But also, happy St. Patrick's Day. Okay, so in the last month since we last came in, we had obviously Winterfest. But before we get to the actual dance itself, we had an even more amazing pep assembly the Friday before. And usually National Honor Society, they organize the St. Baldrick's event, and this time they actually did it during the Winterfest pep assembly, which was super awesome. And so these are just some pictures of several Stevenson students and faculty as well who shaved their heads in honor of St. Baldrick's organization, and they actually raised about $4,700, which is a huge amount, and obviously it takes a lot of courage to be able to do something like that. I mean, I was upset about this short haircut. And then we also had last year's S Factor winner Nikki Rodriguez come and sing, and some of our seniors Got Talent performers as well make a performance. And this is just a picture of our National Honor Society board and students who actually raised money and shaved their heads in honor of St. Baldrick's. Likewise, like I said, the following day was our Winterfest. This was my last Winterfest at Stevenson. I really enjoyed it, and I think that the common perception among students that were there this time was that the music was top notch and everyone was talking about it. So definitely shout out to Stuco for kind of curating that playlist and the DJs. But this is just, these are some awesome pictures that were snapped there. So yeah, very, very fun event.
Karaoke room was the highlight.
I didn't get a chance to check that out. Yeah. Okay, and in our community that we've been creating here, all of our different clubs have been doing some awesome work. First off, in honor of Black History Month, our Black Student Union organized Operation Black History Month, and they had an event in which students from across Stevenson came together. I think it was on February 28th, towards the end of the month, and they had organized food, guest speakers, and Dr. Haney was there. I think he spoke, and it was just a super well organized event. Over here, we had our National Chinese Honor Society. They held their annual Beloved Babysitting event. So they had 45 different volunteers matched with one child, toddler, who they got to play card games with. And from the report that I read on the Daily Digest and the National Chinese Honor Society's social media, it said that all the children were super engaged. They had a really, really great time. And so very heartwarming activity to just be having. And then over here, we had our Muslim Student Association had their Ramadan Fastathon event, and they had Farzi, who's a TikTok social media content creator, and actually this year they had Representative Nabila Syed also there. So it was awesome. I learned the term iftar, which is when you break the fast in the evening, and so they had a bunch of food organized for several students. So it was awesome. And then our Best Buddies Inclusion Week was also there. My co-FMP, she's a part of Best Buddies, and so she was telling us all the different lunchtime activities that they have, near the PAC and the Wood Commons, and so I've heard that was also a very successful event that they had this year. And then in terms of Stevenson events, a lot has happened, and if you guys remember last time, I talked to you guys Kiva Entrepreneurial Showcase the following day. That was super successful. We had 22 teams representing entrepreneurs of their choice in different emerging economies, and they had their own booths. We had teachers come in and judge the different presentations and booths that the students had organized. And so Mejiras Encantadores and Wamuni Fuli were two entrepreneurs that won, or the students, their presentations won. We also had our annual Stevenson Hackathon organized by a computer science club. And so these are just some pictures. This is actually a picture of a representative from the Ngaza Center, which National Honor Society has worked with, and a community organization called Code to Connect has also collaborated with. And so Computer Science Club brought that representative. He's from around here. He's it's about digital literacy that they're talking about here. And so these are just some pictures. But yeah, very successful there. And then Kilometers for Africa, this is still very fresh. This happened over this last weekend, but they raised $8,000, 275 participants. So National Honor Society has been killing it with all these events recently. Very successful, lots of money raised. And then lastly, our Political Action Club had its campaign fair 2 weeks ago. So in advance of the March primaries tomorrow, actually, totally forgot it. But yeah, that's tomorrow. And in honor of that, 2 weeks ago, several candidates that are running for office this year came to Stevenson. So we had Nabila Sayed, Representative Didich, and other people who are running for township board, etc. Also come and had their own booths and stalls, and students from across the school were able to attend and talk to candidates and also get some complimentary Costco cake. So that was, that's like a Mr. Canine staple at all of these events. Okay, the next thing which I thought was pretty cool, you guys can also, I think, scan this. This was a virtual calming space that Stevenson has recently added to their website. And this is actually a curated playlist for people to listen to in order to calm and it's like a virtual peace center just to kind of relax. And so this playlist is available on the website, and there's a bunch of different resources, activities, and stuff also on this virtual calming space. I just thought this was pretty cool to include as well. And then in terms of some general updates, the juniors had their ISA testing, not last week, but the week before. The second thing is that a lot of us seniors are making our final college decisions. A lot of decisions have been rolling in. So all those updates are being posted on this Instagram page. I'm still deciding. I have several more schools coming back in the next 10 days, so waiting for those. Our HOSA members are heading to state this Wednesday. Students took their first digital SAT last weekend. And then student government elections, I think the campaign period ends tonight, and voting starts tomorrow. And so that's just been super fun. I think it's so interesting, this year I've seen a lot of innovation in the campaigns. People, different candidates are meeting up outside of school and recording campaign videos together and endorsing each other. It's just super unique, something that I haven't seen in the last 3 years. But yeah, social media has been blowing up with a lot of these infographics, and I'm sure if you're on their building, you've been seeing those as well. In regards to field trips, this was just our Teaching Young Children class had the opportunity to travel to Walt Disney Magnet School and teach 7 second grade classrooms. And this is a picture of our Future Educators of America, FCCLA and Teaching Young Children class again, who attended the 4th Educators Rising Conference at Illinois State University. So yeah, some cool field trips as well. And then in terms of academics, our mock trial team, they traveled down to Bloomington at the annual McLean mock trial competition. There they took home first place, and then on Saturday, they took home second place in the entire state. So that's also a huge win for our mock trial team. Over here is our debate team. They've also been doing well. This is a picture of them at the Illinois Debate Council, which was the final tournament of the year. This is a picture of our Key Club. They attended the Leadership Convention in Springfield a few weeks back, where I think some Stevenson students were also elected to the state Key Club organization board. And then our math team competition, they placed first across the entire state as well. Yeah. And then athletics, this is a picture of, or an advertisement for the Girls Who Lift Club, which had their first meeting this year, just a week back, and that was a huge success. Over here is our PWC Fitness Challenge. There just seems to be a lot of innovation with the PWC social media collaborations and a lot of new activities, and they had Jasmine's gift cards as kind of prizes. Over here is just a picture to show you guys. I couldn't find anything too big, but essentially spring sports are well underway. There's a girls soccer game going on right now, and tryouts happened and all the teams have been formed. And then pickleball, which is actually the competitive team was formed this year. A lot of my friends are in this, there's this huge pickleball craze going on recently. But they actually, Isaac and his teammate Savant, they took home first place at the competition, and this is just a picture of our table tennis team, which took home 3rd in the state championship. Both of which this Isaac is in. He's awesome. He's taught us all how to play pickleball. And then in arts, we had our Baroque ensemble concert over there, another choir concert over here, and then our honors band had the opportunity to perform at the Highland Park High School Wind Symphony, and along with the Highland Park Wind Symphony and Evanston Township High School Wind Symphony in Chicago. So very cool performance opportunity for them. Yeah, and then the last thing I wanted to do is talk about Catalyst and our advocacy. I'm a part of Catalyst. I'm the director of policy here, and there's been a lot of really cool updates. So these are just pictures of our trip down to Springfield 2 weeks ago for the Advocacy Day. And so we met with different legislators, about 50 across all of our members, along with the Illinois Prevention Network, to advocate for increased regulation on substances, whether it be in regards to advertisements or appeal. And then the last Friday, we actually had a super cool event called the Legislative Lunch. And so essentially for that, we brought in middle schoolers from all the 6 feeder middle schools, and we had like Representative Dittich, Nabila Syed once again, Joanne Johnson from the Buffalo Grove Village Board, all of that. But we had a U.S. Senator in presence, Senator Dick Durbin. The last time he was in presence was 2004 at Stevenson, and so 20 years later he was here, and it was very cool to see. Like there's pictures. I couldn't add them on here, but there were like middle schoolers sitting shoulder to shoulder with like a U.S. Senator who was talking about the work that they're doing in the U.S. Congress, and he's the head of the Agriculture Committee there, and so just a super cool opportunity, even for like us high schoolers to be in the presence, and like I had the opportunity to like escort him into the room, and so it was like a super memorable experience, and I think we're all super lucky that we had so many. I think we had about like 15 legislators coming to the building on Friday, and I don't know if you guys saw, there was like so much like personnel, and since he's like leader Dick Durbin in the Congress, I think the security, like Secret Service was there. I don't know, there was like so much going on. It was Secret Service, yeah, so it was very cool, but I just wanted to spotlight some of that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for this month.
Wow. Cool.
Any
So
questions?
I am curious, so is this like the 5th year in a row the math team, or 6th year in a row that they've?
I don't know about previous years, but the math team seems to be killing it. Like they're always doing well. But yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be here, you can ask
Yeah,
them.
I'll ask them. See if they can count the number of times.
Thank you so much, that was amazing.
Thank you.
Nice job, thank you. Get a cookie on your way out.
Do we have any visitor statements tonight? Any visitor statements tonight? Okay. So now we have our awards.
Yes, we're very excited. So, it seems it's as if it's each month. We have the opportunity now to present Ambassador Awards. And for those who may be unfamiliar, our Ambassador Awards are awards that are given by the Board of Education to students who have succeeded at the very highest levels, either academically or co-curricularly. And tonight we are super excited to be able to recognize a student who had a perfect ACT score. We'll get to that in a minute. But we also have the unique opportunity to recognize some repeat state champions for our chess team. So Troy, take it away.
Yeah, hi everybody, great to see you. So we are gonna invite in our three consecutive year chess state championship team, which is absolutely amazing. So we have a lot of kids to celebrate. We're gonna get them all in, and then we've got a couple of stories maybe we'll tell. So I've got Sanvi Adusumali. Sanjay Advani. Edward Danilian. Jay Feng. Aaron Gann. Addie Jaiswal. So, you have a picture for that one? Sophia Pashman. Hemant Samaya Mantri. Augie Sapru. Ray Sun. a good one. William Wang. Tugs Toomer, yes, son Toomer. Absolutely amazing team, and we have two coaches, Coach Ken Wallach and Coach Vincent Springer. So we're gonna do a couple things, but I just thought there's some facts here that I think are really interesting, so while I've got everybody here. So from what I think, my research tells me that we have finished in the top 10 in the state 23 times. I also believe this is our 5th championship and our 5th championship. Our first championship came in 2007 and 8. One person who's not here today that I do want to recognize, Scott Oliver, helped begin the program and has worked since 1979 to build the program that we have. And we're incredibly proud, and we'll get a chance to say that here, but just in front of all of you, what an amazing coach he's been and steward he's been throughout this whole program. So now what we're gonna do, before we go running off, we're gonna shrink this group up, because we wanna get, so if I could get maybe some tall in the back, get a few people in the front, coaches over here, so I can get a few of you to step out in the front. There you go, and we're gonna get families, we'll get a good picture of the whole team. Hold your things up like this, guys, if you can, everybody. So you can get everybody in. I'm gonna get out of the way. All right, let's do some photos, and then I bet the board has a couple of questions. I think we should take a picture of them. That's actually.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
It's all about the parents and fans.
Exactly. Jamie, did you get a picture?
No, this one's
Okay.
official for the socials. 1, 2, 3.
Awesome. All right, so if I could have everyone turn around, I maybe back up a step or two. Do we have any questions you guys would like to know? 3-time state champions.
I have to. So help me understand your preparation. How do you, obviously you play a lot of chess, there's no question about this. But do you focus on strategy? What is it that you do that's unique and prepares you so well? Can you describe it?
I mean, we prepare every part of the chess, like opening, like strategy, and tactics, all of them combined makes a great chess player. So we have to prepare them all. Yeah.
And is it where you're researching games that people have played? Is it that you sit down together and kind of figure out what works?
Oh, we do them both. Yeah, we play each other. Also, we look at top chess players' games.
Is it an aggregate score that wins state? So
Yeah, what's the
each of you have to
format?
score, what's the yeah.
So you play 8 players, and board 1 is 12 points, and then all the way down to board 8 is 5 points. So it's a total of 68 points, so you need 34 and a half to win.
So it is a team effort.
And are you guys playing people who are ranked similarly to you, or is that how it is? Okay, so they're rankings same way as all around, yeah.
And in the championship match, how many points did we score?
So we tied the last round.
But we won on tiebreaks.
I love it.
Sort of went to overtime in a way.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So how many of you are graduating seniors? Just you?
And one other person is not here.
Oh, and you're gonna play in college?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And where are you going?
I still haven't decided.
Oh, okay.
This is the current state champion, by the way, of adults
Nice.
and students.
So we can expect the rest of you back next year? State champs?
I hope so.
4 in a row.
Let's go for 4.
Why not?
We'll
Come on.
start printing them up right now. You're good. Well, thank you so much.
All right, can I get one more big round of applause for this amazing group of students? Thank you so much. Thank you guys for coming. So we've got one more award to give out today. We're very excited.
You, bro. Study you, everything.
Guys out of the way.
Yeah.
It has also been our tradition for a long time to celebrate our students who are able to earn a perfect score on the ACT test. So this year, we are so thrilled to celebrate with Diana Tang. Come on forward, Diana.
One, two, three, perfect.
Awesome. Thank you very much. They might have a question or two for you, so if you would like to turn around. Anybody have a question?
You're a junior right now?
Yes, I am.
And you're already looking for colleges?
Yeah.
Actually, they're looking for her.
Yeah.
With a 36.
They'll find you very soon. Is this the first time you took the test, or have you done it multiple?
This is my second time.
In your last day, so.
Yeah.
So did you know you did well when you walked out of the test, or did you have questions that you weren't sure about, or?
I wasn't really sure because, especially after the first time, because I didn't do that well. But after I saw the score, I was like, oh, thank goodness.
That's fantastic.
How did you prepare yourself during ACT? You use your Khan Academy to practice, or you just use the physical book, or go to some tutoring center, or just by yourself?
I mainly just did some practice tests because they were.
Okay, sounds pretty easy for you, but. Right, okay, great job.
All right, one last round of applause for Diana. Thank you, congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. Oh, that's awesome.
Janessa, you
It's all Janessa's fault.
way to go. You did it. Okay.
I can't attach.
I'm getting there, hold on.
Oh, thank you, sorry.
All right. So,
Did you make it?
if that was the best part of the meeting, the second best part of the meeting is always our curriculum team presentations. And as you know, each month, we have a department and team come and share some of the amazing work that they're doing related to social emotional learning. And so tonight, we have members of our Fine Arts Division here to join us and share a little bit. And so John, I'll let you kick it off and introduce the members of your team.
Yeah, I think we're gonna start off with introductions, correct? This kind of thing before you all got here, we're trying to figure out.
It's a bigger team, we had to locate ourselves.
Just move the chairs out.
That's what I said.
Yeah, just get the chairs out.
And you guys sit there now. Oh, there's a lot.
No, you're fine.
You ready?
Yep, we're ready.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me some time to talk about SEL and art at Stevenson High School. One thing that I absolutely love is the moment you walk into the Stevenson, you can just feel the creativity on the walls. We have over, I think, 500 plus works of art. And we talk about the student voice survey, but we have to realize like that is student voice all on our wall. And that's just decades and decades and decades of it. And often you hear about the talents of the students, but really it's credit to the teachers, the art teachers in our program. Can we go to the slide? Can we go on the next one real quick? And it's because of the sequencing of our program and the careful collaboration and the scaffolding, the skills. And I've been here 14 years, and we've been doing a really great job with social emotional learning and how it's embedded in our curriculum and fine arts. It's just been so very natural to the artistic process. How you're an artist, how do you create, how do you reflect? And you're gonna hear a lot of that today, but what's great about the art team is how they go above and beyond that, to really express student identity, use of choice, and building community in the classroom. So you can see over 20 classes we offer here and different pathways to get college level experiences through our AP program. And with that, I'm gonna pass it over to our amazing visual arts team to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Maureen Connolly. This is my 14th year at Stevenson. I am currently this year, I'm teaching Photography 1, Photography 2, Advanced Photography and Digital Design, and AP Photography and Digital Design.
Going in order or going in order of that?
I'm Maria Choi Young. This is my 5th year here at Stevenson. I teach art and design, digital art and design 1, photography 1, and photography 2.
My name is Patrick Fairchild. This is my 29th year here at Stevenson. I teach most of the digital art and animation classes, but I also teach the advanced drawing, painting, and mixed media class.
I'm Katie Heiken. This is my 9th year here at Stevenson. I'm also a Stevenson alum. And this year I'm teaching AP Arts, the traditional media class, as well as art and design, ceramics, and advanced 3D.
I'm Unbi Kim. This is my 2nd year here. I'm so lucky I get to teach whatever they tell me to teach.
Smiling.
Thank you. Good attitude.
I'm Tim Myers. This is my 33rd year of teaching here at Stevenson, and this year I'm teaching AP Art History, Art History 1, Art History 2, Sculpture, Painting, and last semester a couple of art design classes. And this is my final year.
Congratulations.
I love teaching. Great community.
You could stay.
No, she.
Hi everyone, I'm Crystal Saban, and I'm also an alum here. I've been teaching here for 26 years, and I teach art and design, drawing, studio art, ceramics, as well as murals and jewelry.
You already saw this, so we're gonna move on.
So the why behind team focus, so I'm sure by now this is a very familiar graphic, the building student agency wheel. Our team specifically wanted to focus on identity and belonging and how that works in our classrooms.
And as part of our department's goals, projects, and initiatives for the school year, we are focusing on equity, diversity, and inclusivity in the classroom.
So with all of that in mind, with looking at identity and belonging, we wanted to tie it to the portrait of the graduate. We really wanted to look into commitment to self and to others. So within commitment to self, we really wanted to dive deep into how we work through helping students work through identity as well as choice in our classes. And then with commitment to others, how we include different types of team building activities and opportunities as well as peer critiques to help build that community feeling within our classrooms. So trying to gather more data from our students, always a good thing, giving them opportunities to share their voice. We created a really short survey that we sent to all of our semester 1 students back in December of 2023, so a few months ago. And we had over 500 students respond. We had some questions that were modeled after the student voice survey, such as the question up here, how much do you feel like you belong in this class? But we also had some open-ended questions where students could provide like written feedback and really put their voice into the questions that we were posing to them. So as you can see for this particular question, we had over 90% of our students respond positively about how they felt about belonging in our class.
We use ChatGPT, an AI tool, to help summarize all the 500 plus student written responses about what belonging means to them to create these 5 main response categories, such as feeling comfortable and accepted, connecting with others, being respected and valued, fitting in, enjoying the experience.
We received a lot of different definitions for what belonging meant to the students. It was really interesting actually just seeing all what they felt like belonging was in an art classroom. We pulled a couple of them here though, just so you could see.
So one of the things we just wanted to show you was an example of a team building activity that we do in our classrooms. We all do something different throughout the course of the semester. This is an example from one of my art and design classes. I did an activity with them. I think this was the second day of class. So art and design is an intro level class, mostly freshmen, but we do get sophomores, juniors, and seniors in the class. And early on, I wanted them to work on communicating with each other, feeling comfortable talking to each other, and just having fun and being silly. So I'm gonna share a video with you in a second, just to preface the video. Each student group, there's a group of 4, has a marker with 4 strings tied to it. And then I put a picture up on the board, and as a team, without touching the marker, they had to draw what was on the board. So they can only pull or release their string, which you have to be able to talk to your team members and work together to create the drawing. So I'm just gonna play the video. They like to try to cheat and get really close to the marker. But it was a really fun activity. It was low stakes. It wasn't about making the prettiest picture. It was about learning how to communicate with people you just met, having fun, and just being a little silly in the art room on the second day of class.
In studio art, we have like an assignment where they're learning about themselves and they're kind of delving into their own personal symbols. And we do a lot of like brainstorming activities and sketches, but before that, I have them do an identity circle where they're, kind of figuring out which parts of themselves they wanted to highlight. And then within their small groups, they ended up sharing with each other, sharing out. And these were just some of the results from the students, some of the finished pieces, but along the way, like halfway through, I have them do like partner critiques where they're kind of silently like writing out things about like their use of media and composition and value, and then they share out verbally, and at the end, then we have like a large group critique. So it was nice, and everyone's is different, and it was just a joy to kind of see what they do.
So in all of our classes, we've created a variety of assignments that provide the students with choice. And here you can see these are some examples from my advanced photography and digital design class. In this class, I start by actually surveying them and ask them some questions about their interests, and maybe even a question about maybe one person you want to be in a group with. And then I pair them together. They actually do some collaborative research. They present that research to the class. And then they have to set up an installation in the classroom. Together as a team. They have to collect all the supplies, materials, and then they're expected to all photograph it and all act as lighting assistants and all act as models for one another. And then with the images that they collect, they have to go and individually edit them to put their own personal artist voice into it. So they have to find a way to create variety between each piece. They're using visual references, and then we do a critique. So there's a lot of layers to it. There's the collaborative aspect, there's the research aspect, there's the own artist voice aspect. So it's kind of forcing them to work as a group, but also a community.
And as Marie was saying, choice is a big part of the art curriculum throughout. Students have a lot of opportunity to choose to create something that's important to them, that's meaningful to them. A lot of the students, what's really meaningful to them is the clubs they're in, the activities they're in. So for instance, in Digital Art 2, we do a poster project, and a lot of students will choose to do a poster for their club or their sport, which I think is kind of cool because they're doing it obviously because it's something they enjoy, but they're also doing it for their coach or for their other members. So they're committing to them, commitment to themselves, but also to others with this project.
In painting class, there's what you see on the right is the finished product, but there's a number of different community building activities that happen before that. One is where every student has to choose an artist that they, for this one, a landscape painter from anywhere around the planet, and I try to get them to encourage them to use a descriptor of themselves before they do the Google searching, and then they report to the class. So we learn about each other that way. They have to supply 3 to 5 photos of images that they've taken that they might want to work with, and then they brainstorm. And I encourage them to choose a place that's special to them, and so this student, where she went to summer camp, was important to them, and you really learn a lot about the student. Everyone learns about each student in the class when they do that.
In our classes, students have the opportunity to have a peer-to-peer critique to share their artworks with each other. We use the following format, the TAG, in small groups where one student shares their artwork and process, then each student asks the following question. Tell us something that you like about their piece, ask a good question, give them a positive suggestion. And you can read a few of the statements of the critiques, how it's been positively impacting in their everyday life.
And one of the final slides, again, from the landscape assignment, this student who wrote that quote, this was from the photo that she took on her last day in the Ukraine. And so very meaningful for her, and what a life skill for everyone in the classroom to learn how to listen and how to empathize. That's the best thing we can do for our kids.
We've been very excited to share with you what we've been working on, so thank you for having us and thank you for supporting the arts.
If you have any questions that we could help answer?
Would you mind going, there was a slide that had the 3 projects that students have worked on.
Studio?
It didn't say how they were created, and how were those? They're stunning, and I'm just curious. What are they?
The nice thing is, like, all the students, they get a chance to kind of experiment with, like, watercolor and colored pencil and charcoal and marker, graphite, you know, different things to decide what they want to use, like what types of materials they want to kind of combine. And that takes up like a good 3 or 4 days, and then they're kind of like, okay, they feel comfortable. But then we've done a bunch of pencil sketches too to come up with like their compositions within their 5 personal symbols that they came up with too. Some sort of portal for change to access something that's happening in the past or the future. So they're just all innately different and just exciting. But did you have a specific question about?
So are these, so is the one on the left a charcoal?
The one right here?
Yeah.
This was done primarily with you know, the really thin like micron pens, and she used just a little hint of colored pencil.
And then the second?
The second one, that was mostly marker. That's mostly the alcohol-based marker with like just probably a little bit of like fine, you know, micron thin black marker for detailing.
I just noticed that.
Yeah, right, the heart and the silver.
Yeah, it's stunning.
And then on the right, that was mostly watercolor.
Wow.
I thought that last slide about teaching how to critique was really interesting. And the question that popped into my head is like, can you guys give me examples of like what a positive critique, like a student, how a student would positively, so I can critique Steve's jacket, but I don't think that's what you're looking for.
We can try to critique Steve's jacket.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah. I like to do the sandwich critique where they start with something very visually specific about what they like that they think is working for the student when we paired them up. And then one thing that they might consider thinking about, not an improvement or like you should do this type of thing, but just something that the artist might consider from the other student's perspective. And then following up with something more specific than just I like, but and with another complement of the work. So it's a good way for them to think about things from different perspectives.
We've also done work with Liz Lerman. How many years back was that, John? Probably 12 years. But she helped us to frame it where we start by giving them positive feedback that's specific to the criteria of the assignment and the techniques being taught. And then we also ask the student a question because it provides the artist with a chance to defend what they've done. So it helps you to better understand their intent. And then that can help you to provide them with the right kind of feedback, because if you don't know the intent, I think then you might be giving them feedback on something that was actually supposed to be there. So that really helps with the giving them constructive criticism. And like Tim said, you know, we always try to encourage them to take their personal feelings and emotions out of it, and how we're all coming to this critique with a place of like intent to help one another. So.
My question was similar, and do you find that that is one of the places that has like real high leverage for some of the work you're trying to do in this area? I mean, I would think that, you know, as a student, like something that they're doing is so personal, and then to get feedback that seems to me like that could be a real high leverage moment for self-awareness and relationships building and all those things that, you know, we try to do.
I mean, not to speak for everyone, but we also really try to pinpoint that if you're going to take anything out of our classes, this is going to help you, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a manager, or you're going to work for someone. You have to know how to provide someone else with critique, and you need to know how to accept it. We as teachers are given critique, you know, when we're given our evaluations, and we're supposed to be self-reflective and find ways to even critique what we're doing. So we really try to help them to understand that, and that's why even within the student voice, we're trying to articulate that to the students, that these are the most meaningful moments within the classroom. Right. And we've noticed that at the beginning, it can be nerve-wracking for the students, but they tend to want it. And then they tend to do it organically without our instruction and without the organized or like structured aspect to it. They are constantly asking for, can we have some time to critique? Because they really want the feedback, and they like the feedback.
So they feel good about it.
Yes.
Because Troy gives me feedback all day long, so it's good that.
Sometimes you deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Normally the one thing I want to share really quickly with the give a suggestion. It's more like, could you have thought of this in a different way? Could you have cropped it this way? Could you have used a different color, or could you have used a different tool instead of that little section right there?
Do you give them stems?
Just kind of.
Do you give them like prompts or?
Yeah, these are the prompts. Yeah, and the kids are kind of used to it, and then they actually kind of enjoy the critiques because they look forward to it. Like, oh, I never thought I thought of it that way, and now I know what to do to the next project. And so it's kind of like this continued habit in the course that they actually can continue on.
It also reinforces the things we say to them, because sometimes they'll say, "Oh, yeah, Mr. Young already told me that."
And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
My friends thought the same thing.
Interested in children, tell me about this picture. Do you get a lot of students coming into these classes who this is kind of their first experience with art? I mean, I know they take it when they're younger, but so they don't come in like this necessarily. I mean, they're so talented.
The world too.
Yes.
It's really important too, like in those intro level classes, to really build that sense of community and remind students, you know, we're all artists in this room. Even if you don't think of yourself as an artist, you are an artist. You know how to put pencil to paper and write your name. You're an artist. And building that sense of community and knowing like someone might be, you know, coming in with more skills than you, but you have things that you can show that student. So we need to all work together to build and help each other grow in this class.
On a personal note.
This is going to be very anticlimactic. So the slide with the student voice data was awesome, and it was overwhelmingly positive. You mentioned you got a lot of discursive feedback from the students and the questions that you asked. I wonder, with those very few that aren't feeling a profound sense of belonging, if you got any insight from that discursive feedback about what the barriers might be.
I mean, I don't know if we got feedback. What I thought was interesting, and this is related to that, is like there were students that said, because we had other questions that said, what's the overall energy level or positive or negative for this class? And there were a couple I saw that said, you know, what is your definition of belonging? And it was like, if I'm really good at doing something in this class. So it's like interesting. And it said, you know, do you feel like you belong in this class? You know, somewhat, not really. What do you think of the energy of this class? Oh, very positive. So like, it was just really interesting seeing sometimes how it was similar and sometimes how it was like contrary to what they said. They still sounded like it, that they were enjoying it, but they would say, well, it's because maybe I'm not doing as well, I don't belong. Like, there were just so many different, like I said, it was really interesting seeing what their definition of belonging was very interesting. But maybe you can talk to
Just
like,
on the outside, like sometimes because the artwork around the school is just such high level and high caliber, and like what gets in the, sometimes examples around the room, it's hard for some people to realize the process and the education and training that goes into that, and I think that can be really intimidating. And I remember, I've been in your, like, somebody there upstairs, Maria, I was in your class, and the student's like, oh, I'm not good enough because like this, you know, and like, and it's like, no, just give yourself a second, give yourself a moment.
Oh no, it was just like interesting seeing their like thought process too with that, like seeing how they would say we don't belong, but giving the definition of their belonging, but they still had like positive experiences. We just got to see more so what they were thinking and why with their answers.
The Gobble Girls have had 5 of you as teachers, and they have walked away more confident and more creative because of what you've done, so thanks.
Very cool. And the kids helped each other too. I was recently telling, like, having them all walk around, look at each other. It's like my yoga class on Sunday. Like seeing the person next to me do something right helped me do it better. It's like we're all here for each other to pick each other up. So it's a good sense of community in each of our classes.
That's amazing.
Thank you all so much,
Thank you
and
very much.
Tim, thank you for what you said, 33 years. Unbelievable. Yeah. I'm just so much younger. So, but congratulations and thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you, and thank you for all the professional opportunities that you've given all of us. But it's a special place, and I feel really lucky to have been able to teach here that long.
Thank you, team. We appreciate you.
Thank you. You should ask him, right? How his child is.
Miss Yellen, it seems like it's that much
You have a son, don't you?
really putting yourself.
Yeah.
Tim,
It takes some bravery to put
Tim,
those things out.
how's your child doing?
Amina's about to graduate high school, and Otis is in 7th grade, so he's tall.
It's amazing.
She did dual language?
So
All the way through?
Awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
Doug teaches 1st grade there now.
Awesome.
Did you know that?
No, I did not know that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thank you.
Tim and I were at U of I together.
Oh. School?
Yeah, upstairs.
With me.
And then.
98, 7, 98.
Okay.
Okay.
Absolutely amazing. That was really cool.
That was.
Okay, next item under curriculum instruction assessment is our textbook recommendations. And last month, Mark brought forward recommendations for the 2024-25 school year. So tonight we are bringing those forward for your approval. And it looks like we lost the attachment, Pia, on the board book. But I know everybody had a chance to see that.
it's on the next page.
No, I'm looking at it.
I have it.
You got it.
Oh, you got it?
It's there.
Okay,
Yeah, I see
mine broke. Anyway, we're bringing that forward tonight for your approval.
Okay, could I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Any questions for Mark?
No, but they're so expensive.
And again, I think I asked this last time, that's not a printed book, right?
No.
Physical, it's physical.
Should be a discount.
They've figured out how to.
I know.
We can't get any deals on these things? No.
We have trimmed back where we can, so.
Is there any talk, I know colleges now are doing just like a flat fee, textbook fee. Are any of the companies out there, I guess there's just so many and so different, like a subscription service where you subscribe for however many kids you have and then you get access to whatever you need. Is there anything like that in the high school?
Is there like a one-stop shop?
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. It's flat fee and then you get.
Not quite like that, and what our decision-making process has always been is to find the best materials for the student, and each of those activities, ones are so different,
Yeah.
The content of our courses are so varied and somewhat specific that it's hard to find something quite like that.
Yeah.
But to your point, the costs are.
Neat books.
Is it because the newly published in it's gonna be 2024,
Yeah,
right?
those are
It's a newer
issues.
version.
Yeah. And content gets updated in certain areas, and then the other book is new book to the curriculum.
Too much.
All right.
Okay, you
Any
want
other
to
questions?
poll?
Yep. Yes, please.
Ready?
Yep.
No.
Aye.
Ben Joseph.
Aye.
Sal.
Aye.
Moons, aye. Tyre.
Aye.
Frost.
Aye.
6-0, we're buying books.
Okay, next item is our personnel section. Some information items there for you under graduate program approvals. But as you may remember, March in most school districts around Illinois is a heavy personnel month, just the way it lines up for the year. And so tonight you will see in the personnel report our typical March allotment of teachers who are being recommended for appointment to tenure by department, and you can see kind of a little bio on each of those teachers. So we're excited to bring those teachers to you for your approval tonight. You can see teachers who are being recommended for a third year, a second year, reemployment on a part-time basis, our recommendations for administrator contracts, appointments of faculty positions. We also have faculty resignations, and staff resignations, support staff resignations. We also have tonight a irrevocable letter of resignation for the purposes of retirement for a faculty member, Joe Flanagan, but also our very own Mr. Carney put his retirement letter in. But that's not for 5 years, so no laying up. We run through the tape, all right? We're gonna run through the tape, but
Most definitely.
5 years for Mr. Carney. And then, again, an assortment of other personnel items, all to be included in the personnel report under consent. And then we also have tonight the recommendation for an approval of a resolution authorizing issuance of a notice of remedial warning for a tenured teacher. We had an executive session earlier tonight, and following that, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the resolution authorizing issuance of a notice of remedial warning to tenured teacher Dawn Tim as presented.
Could I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, and our discussion happened in closed session, so could we please
Who
poll
do
the
you think
board?
seconded that? Tyre, we'll give it to Tyre.
Terry, could you please poll?
Certainly, Ben Joseph.
Yes.
Sal.
Aye.
Moons, aye. Tyre.
Aye.
Frost.
Aye.
No.
Aye.
Carries 6-0.
Okay, and again, the rest of the items will be covered in the consent agenda, and that takes us to a very thin business section, Sean, so.
The first is, I believe, a consent agenda item, but it's the annual renewal with the Illinois High School Association for Sports, IHSA. There are no dues or fees associated with that, so that'll be taken under consent. But that is in fact an annual renewal, if you will. The other two items, you have a question or?
Well, it says we're supposed to poll.
That's if you want to take it out of consent.
Do we wanna take it out of consent?
No, I don't
Okay,
think so.
just checking. Got it. And then the other two items I have for tonight are first readings that will be brought back to the board in April. One is for the approval of natural gas and electricity contracts. As you might recall, we purchase our electricity and natural gas directly from a supplier at a fixed cost that in fact creates or eliminates the volatility associated with energy prices. And I can tell you in working with some of the individuals that are looking to continue to have our business or get our business, we have been very fortunate with our pricing, the natural gas specifically. Anytime you have conflict in the world, energy prices skyrocket, and we have been able to maintain a very steady stream and use all that. So it works to the benefit. There'll be more information in the mid-meeting memo as well as the April board book. But we've met with 3 individuals so far. And then the other one is also something not entirely new to the board, but that is the use of the federal E-rate program. So this program allows school districts to purchase a variety of technology equipment, and we are then reimbursed 40% of the cost back from the federal government. So this year, Doug meets with Brittany and I during the budgeting process. We identify what those needs are. So we put this in the particular budget. The RFP process was just finished, and we came up with some switches and wireless access points that we needed. Total cost of all that equipment, which was going to be in the FY25 budget, is $337,000 and thereabouts, and then we would get reimbursed about $134,000 back. So definitely, it's almost like a coupon. It's like buying with a coupon. It's great.
But to be clear, it's not as if we're, these are on sale, let's go buy them.
No, that's correct.
So
These are necessary purchases.
we would have been purchasing these
Correct.
anyway, right?
Fair point. Thank you for including that. Yep, other than that, and then the last thing is there is a slew of FOIA requests. Pia and I work together on these, and I will tell you, I don't know, it just seems to be fast and furious right now. And we are hearing some of it from our peers as well. Some of these are normal requests that we get every so often, and then others are new. So ProQuest, that smart Procure is one that we get probably about every 3 months or so. But all in all, ship's moving in the right direction.
Could I get a motion to approve the consent agenda, please?
So moved.
Second. Okay. Terry, did you vote?
Certainly, Moons, aye, Tyre.
Aye.
Frost.
Aye.
No.
Aye.
Ben Joseph.
Aye.
Sal.
Aye.
Carries 6-0.
Okay, just a couple items for tonight. The first is some kudos. Molly Sponseller in our science department was recently awarded her doctorate in educational leadership. So congratulations to Dr. Sponseller.
nice.
Yeah, very cool.
Very nice.
About 2 weeks ago, we had included an interesting article about the SAT going digital, and I thought that was really interesting. A week ago, we found out that Illinois is dumping the SAT. So, yeah, wah. And they don't have a digital option yet. I'm sure they will at some point, but
They meaning the
ACT does not, yeah. So, hopefully they will. I wonder if it's part of the contract, part of the bid, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure if I've been following the news correctly, I'm pretty sure ISB already voted on it, but I don't know that for sure.
Beginning right away next year.
Yes, next year. So
Because why not?
the only good news is that we were an ACT state for a long time, and that, for those of us who've been around for a while, the ACT is something that we're familiar with. I don't think the move back to ACT will take as long as the ramp up to the SAT took for our own organizational learning. But that has been an interesting couple weeks.
How many of our kids, students take both anyway?
You know, I don't know that we have a hard number on that.
I could find out, send it to you. It's that we offer weekend testing for ACT a few times a year. And we may get a few hundred kids that'll take it.
You mean ACT?
ACT.
And they would all be both, because they were all taking the SAT.
SAT is required, they all take it.
Right.
And so then they'll come for weekend testing and do the ACT.
Because the article was really interesting about the testing and the time for the SAT.
And
So
I
it
mean,
still helped.
they invested a lot of money in that. I mean, it's become adaptive, it's all online. I don't know if any of you took the 5 questions on the New York Times on Sunday. I mean, it's interesting, like it's good. I just don't understand why we switched back.
My daughter, she was graduating that year, so.
Anyway, important dates that you should keep in mind, some really great, thank you Jamie and Pia for some student profiles, that's all fun.
Can I say one thing
Of
about the
course.
important dates? We're gonna be adding one. The
Oh, yes.
Board Articulation Committee is coming back. So we have a date, April 24th. Stevenson will be hosting. And what this is consortium-wide, similar to what the superintendents and the principals and everybody else does. It's getting all the board members, and I think superintendents will be invited as well.
Yep.
Just, the first one is really just to kind of meet and greet and get to know people, and the idea is so that we kind of know each other and we start to talk about things like, you know, it's already been suggested that maybe the FOIA thing, because other districts are feeling that too, and it affects the boards, that perhaps there's something we could do through the legislature if we all get together. So there's, some topics are being tossed around, and we're gonna spend this first meeting just kind of talking about that. What would the format look like going forward? What kind of topics does everyone wanna see covered in the future? Do we wanna move it around? Do we always wanna host it here? Do we wanna move it around to the other districts? We'll kind of cover all those things in the first one, and then we will, you know, do it kind of for real next year. So it's not mandatory by any stretch, but it'd be nice if you're interested in interacting with everybody.
Let me say in the previous past, when we had them, everybody sit at their own school.
We're
Yeah, we're
gonna,
gonna figure that out.
we
No,
don't
we're
wanna
gonna
do
figure
that.
that out. We're gonna assign seats, we'll have opportunities for everybody to get up and know each, we may even play some kind of get to know you games, find people in the room that you don't know, you know, those
And
kinds
in
of things. Yeah.
and in the strings, we
There
can
you
make
go,
flowers.
we can do some, yeah, we're gonna do some of that so that people have to interact with the other
Yeah,
schools. That's,
that to me is the
yeah.
purpose of having this whole,
yeah,
this whole
exactly.
event
Yeah,
is not
I
to sit with each other.
completely agree.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so everybody should be getting invitations this week, but I just wanted to give you a heads up.
Thank you for organizing that.
Exactly.
And then finally, I included just the results of our sectioning kind of workshops that we do the last 2 weeks of February each year. You know, it is a pretty exact science trying to determine and right-sizing our overall FTE for our administrative team, our faculty, and our support staff. And so this is the result of our sectioning for classes next year, and we try to get down to each division what their FTE needs will be. And we knew that next year would be a pretty significant year for increases in student enrollment. Sean, we think we'll be up close to probably somewhere between 4,750 on the low end and maybe 4,800 on the high end. We don't know for sure yet because we don't have our enrollment projections. If, you know, the housing market continues to heat up, it could be over 4,800, you know, it just depends. But each year from this point until October-ish, we pick up Troy anywhere from 150 to 200 students. So right now, we're at 4,600, about 40. So even if we just went with 100, we'd be at essentially 4,750, right? So could be a lot higher than that, we just don't know. There is a little bit of wiggle room, not a lot, but a little bit of wiggle room built into the class sizes per division. But our goal has been for the past couple of years, as we've been managing this enrollment swing, is to try to keep class sizes the same. In some cases, they tweak up a little bit per division. In some cases, they move down a little bit. It just depends, on enrollment in some classes. So it could be in social studies, for example, I see genetics. It could be if world religions only has 19 kids in 2 sections, that actually brings down the overall average. On the other hand, if another class has 28, that rises it up. But for the most part, we're able to stay relatively the same. You sometimes see little fluctuations. And divisionally speaking, in kind of the big 4, core areas, anywhere between 22 to 23 kids in a class on average. So it's a process. But the short of it is, next year we'll be up almost 10 teachers based on the enrollment increase. So that is a lot. So.
And we haven't started to hire yet.
Our directors have been interviewing furiously, and they are going. I think math is probably our biggest division in terms of new hires, because they have new enrollment and they have some resignations, retirements.
Yep.
So those are starting to come in pretty quickly. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So overall, it's good, but I just want to keep you posted. Next year's projections, Sean actually had this for the last 2 years. If you include last year and this year, we hit our FTE projection numbers, which was around 12. Almost to the dot. Next year, the projections only had 1 FTE increase. I think that's humorous, but we'll see. I mean, we may not see the enrollment growth that we're expecting.
I think this is the big year, the big jump, and then we
kind of
plateau a little bit.
But we haven't. But the problem is we haven't yet received our updated enrollment projections. So a lot of this is conjecture until we see that.
But it's in line, what we're seeing is in line with all the decision insight stuff that we've been for 10 years now.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the year.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's the year, 4,800.
4,800. Yeah. So it's gonna be tight.
Dave Weisberg says it's time to build a link.
Well, if you'd like to loan us $45 million.
6 years.
Yeah.
Okay, when we're out of here, right?
6 years.
All right, that's all I got.
All right, could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?